Going to be doing a practice today that focuses on balancing. We will be using the tree position, and we're going to be doing some mindful movement around the tree. And then we will have a visualization, a seated visualization. And then we'll, of course, have some discussion, an opportunity for everybody to share in their experience, which will not be recorded. And then we will have a poem. So I'm going to just invite everybody to start off in our mountain pose. In the mountain pose, our feet are hip width apart. And we build our mountain from the ground up. And this mountain pose is also a transitional pose, which gives us a chance. We've all come from different places. It's kind of our arriving practice today. And it allows us to all be in the same space at the same time. Okay, I'm noticing that somebody wants to be admitted. If somebody can admit them.
Done.
Okay, so feet are hip width apart and just bringing attention to the feet making contact with the floor. So just imagining the big toe, and the little toes, and all the toes in between. And we're actually feeling them. So feeling the ball of the foot as it makes contact with the floor, the heel of the foot as it makes contact with the floor. And then continuing up the legs, softening the knees, so gently bending your knees. And then dropping the tailbone down. So what this looks like, I'm going to turn sideways. What this turns like is you just drop the tailbone down. So what this does is it lengthens the lower back. It releases tension in that lower back area. That's where we often carry tension. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And then if you turn the arms outwards so that your palms are facing the front, it draws your shoulder blades together in the back. It creates a broadness in the shoulders. It expands the chest. It's also a very vulnerable position. We don't stand like this very often. And then reaching up with the crown of the head. So just noticing how this feels as we're standing in mountain pose. We're always talking about being centered and balanced in our lives. How does it feel in your body? So I'm noticing that my body is moving right now, just gently swaying. So I'm just finding that space where I'm balanced on both feet. My weight is evenly distributed on the soles of my feet, and I'm standing with a kind of a balancing of effort and ease. So let's all take an opportunity to take a few long, slow breaths, seeing if you can make the exhalation a little longer than the inhalation. And on the last exhalation, allowing your breath to assume its natural rhythm. And let's just do a brief pause practice of checking in with the triangle of awareness. So starting off by checking in with the body and just noticing what's present for you right now, today. Every day it's a new body. So which body did you bring with you today? So we're just checking in to find areas of tightness or tension, or maybe areas that we have to be a little bit more careful of when we go through our mindful movement. And then moving our attention, because we can, to the mind. And again, just checking in and seeing, is the mind really busy? Is the mind really calm? Not trying to push any thoughts away or attract better thoughts, but just being with whatever is with us today, putting out the welcome mat for it. And then lastly, checking in with feeling states, just noticing, are there any emotions present? Happy, sad, frustrated, overwhelmed, peaceful. Seeing if you can maybe name how you're feeling right now. Okay, and with that, our practice is going to begin. So we're going to be looking at the tree pose, and what I wanted, and traditionally the tree pose looks like this. Do a tree pose, in its full expression, it looks something like this. Okay, but it doesn't have to look like that. So I'm going to show you a couple of modifications that you can use, when we want to explore this idea of balancing. So one thing that you may want to do, and I want to explore them with you before we actually get into practicing trees. So one of the things that you can do is, these are yoga blocks, but you could also use books. And what I'm going to say is that, so the thing about the tree is that your foot can go at your ankle, it can go at your calf, or it can go at your thigh. And traditionally the knee is pointing outwards. The one place where we recommend you never put your foot is on your knee. And this is because this joint is not designed to go sideways. So we don't want to put any pressure on the joint. So any other place is okay. So you may want to do today, so we're going to start off, find your mountain pose, and then shift your weight to one foot. Just shift your weight. So right now we haven't even done anything. We're just mainly our weight is on one foot. Your tree pose could be with your heel on your ankle and your toe on the floor. That is totally acceptable. Your tree pose could be, you could be putting your toe on those two blocks and your heel can be at your calf. And you could see how this feels. You could, like I have here, use something to hold on to like a chair. And if you want to actually have it so you're fully standing on one leg, you may just want to put your foot at your calf or your ankle and put your hand on the chair so you're holding on to something. Another way that you could do the chair is you could stand, the tree is you could stand next to the chair and you could rest your knee on the chair. So you could explore how this works for you. I'm feeling pretty balanced like this. The other thing that you can do is you could actually sit down in the chair and you could put your ankle over your knee, or you could put your ankle at your calf, and you could just have a seated chair and we'll play around with the branches. So I'm going to invite you now to just choose. This is your practice and this is your choice. And without striving, we're not comparing ourselves to anybody else. Find which tree do you want to practice today, And maybe not looking at what the ego wants, maybe looking at what the body wants. It's late in the day, maybe you've had a long day, and maybe you just want to do an easy tree. So I'm going to invite you to just, again, find your mountain pose, shift your weight to one side, choose where you're going to put your foot, and we're going to gently, you can put your hands on your hips for this. We're just going to move the knee in and out. So we're just from the hip socket. So we're just, because one of the things about tree is there's somebody who wants to get in. One of the things about tree is that your foot is out to the side. So then once you've chosen your tree, and I'm going to actually choose this tree because I got something going on, where I have my foot on my calf and I'm using the chair. I like the chair. This works for me. So just picture the most beautiful tree. Imagine, what kind of tree are you going to be today? And you can imagine that your feet are the roots that are going into the floor and that they are establishing the stability of your tree. What helps trees thrive? There's a really good story about, there was a biodome in Arizona, and it was a perfectly controlled situation. All the plants and animals were in a perfectly controlled environment. They had the right amount of water, they had the right amount of sun, they had the right amount of everything. And the trees grew, but after about 5 years, all the trees started to fall down. And they couldn't figure out why. Why were the trees falling down? And what happened was they realized there was no wind in the biodome. And without wind, roots don't grow. So it's a metaphor for the challenges and the adversity that we may find in our lives that helps us build the resilience of those roots. So just imagine as we're standing here on one leg, that your roots are going into the ground and they're giving you stability. So again, we're going to look at our legs. So our feet are the roots and our leg is the trunk of the tree, feeling the strength of the trunk of the tree. And your torso is that canopy of the tree, you know, and your arms are the branches. What kind of tree would you like to be today? Are you going to be an oak with really strong, firm branches? Or maybe you're going to be a willow with soft, flowing branches. And just exploring, you know, where does it help your balance to have your arms? Is it helpful to have them out to the side? Is it helpful to have them up on top? Like what kind of tree do you want to be? I want to be a little bit of a flowing tree today. So just exploring this movement, the movement of your tree, imagining that there's some wind coming and it's blowing the branches and you're gently moving. Now, if you want to improve your balance, find something to look at that's not moving. So don't look at me because I'm moving. And we call it just a soft focus gaze, but you're holding your sight on one point. And just notice how this helps your balance. And if you're using a support like I am, maybe you want to at some point take your foot off that support and see how's my balance. So you could also hold your hands to your heart, in a flame position. You hold them over your head. You have them out to the side. We're just playing around. So here's a challenge for you. Can you hold your tree with your eyes closed? And if you fall out of your tree, nothing wrong has happened. Just kindly and patiently, gracefully come out of your tree. And if you fall out of your tree, you can just come back into it. So now just shake out that standing leg and find your mountain pose and just take a moment. Just take a moment to check in and notice, what are you feeling? Are you feeling, you know, some energy on one side of the body or the other side? Is there more openness on one side or the other side? What did you notice doing that tree? So now we're going to have the opportunity of the other side. And you may notice with balance that, you know, some weeks you're really balanced, some days one side is really balanced. So we're going to explore what's going on the other side of the body. So starting off in your mountain pose, so building your mountain feet, softening the knees, dropping the tailbone, turning the shoulders out, reaching up with the crown of the head. And then shifting the weight to one side, finding something to look at that's not moving, and then deciding where would you like your tree on this side? Where would you like, we could start moving the leg in and out. Let's just create a little openness in the hip. And then where would you like your tree branch? I'm just going to invite everybody to be gentle. And then where would you like your tree arms? And I'm noticing that I'm a fairly moving tree. If you find that, really make sure that your feet are anchored, that your big toe is pressing into the ground. And if at all you fall out of the tree, it's great. I'm going to fall out of it. Then rebuild your tree slowly. It's about the journey, not the destination. So mountain pose, shifting the weight, focusing the gaze, engaging the abdominals, finding where you want to put your foot, and then playing with your arms. Now I'm noticing I'm far more balanced my second time on this side And when you get to your full expression of your tree, just taking a couple of breaths and then seeing if you can slowly and gracefully come out of that tree. And then just take a moment back in mountain. You may want to shake it all out. And then just taking a moment to check in with the body and seeing what does the body need right now. Is there a place of movement that you need? So I'm noticing maybe some shoulder rolls would feel really good right now. And then just take a moment back in our mountain pose. And if you're comfortable closing your eyes, let's just do a check-in again. What do you notice? You notice that anything shifted in the body? Did anything shift in the mind? How about emotionally? What's going on? You're just standing, breathing, resting. So in a minute, I'm just going to invite you to come back to your seats. I'm going to walk back to my seat. And we're going to take a position for a seated practice. And the invitation is also, if because of this time of day, you want to do your tree visualization lying down, then feel free to do that as well. Perfectly acceptable to do it lying down. So we call this the Be a Tree visualization. So just beginning by taking your seat with that same sense of elevation as a standing tree in a seated position. And feeling grounded through the feet, making contact with the floor, and the crown of the head lifting up towards the sky. So this is a practice that involves guided imagery. It's not about imagining yourself somewhere else. It's about imagining aspects of nature that resonate with us, qualities that we can cultivate. For some, visualization evokes really clear images like a movie. For others, it's more of a feeling sense. So whatever is your experience, the invitation is to just notice what's happening for you with a sense of openness and curiosity. If at any point this is not for you, then, give yourself permission to stop altogether. So this meditation reminds us of our connection with the earth and the strength, stability, and nature of the tree that's within each one of us. So if it's comfortable for you, if you wish, you can close your eyes, or you can, look at your hands or downwards, just maybe giving your eyes a break from the screen. And beginning by bringing your attention to the flow of the breath as it moves through the body. Imagining on each in-breath, we're taking in fresh energy. And on each exhalation, we're just expelling any stale air, staleness that's in our bodies. So perhaps noticing where the breath is most vivid for you. So for some, it could be at the nostrils. Maybe noticing the temperature of the air as you breathe in. Temperature of the air as you breathe out. Or maybe noticing the feeling of the chest expanding on an inhalation and deflating on an exhalation. And you may notice in terms of the chest that it's not only the expansion that happens in the front body, also the side body, the back body, as the rib cage moves to accommodate the in-breath and the expansion of the lungs, and then deflates as that air leaves the body. For some, they may notice the feeling of the breath moving in the abdomen. So just allowing your body, your belly to be soft, allowing your body to expand on the inhalation, deflate on the exhalation. For some people, it's the whole wave-like motion of the breath entering the body and leaving the body. Just having a sense of curiosity about this miracle of breathing that keeps us alive. Secret to a long life, keep breathing. So we're just observing the breath. We're not trying to change it in any way, allowing the body to become still, allowing the mind to become still if that's available to you. And sitting with a sense of dignity, a sense of resolve, a sense of being complete, whole in this very moment, with your posture reflecting this sense of wholeness. So beginning by our visualization, allowing the breath to move to the background space of the mind, and just bringing to mind a picture or an image of a tree, one whose form speaks personally to you. It could be a tree that you've actually seen and appreciated, or maybe it's a picture of a tree, or maybe it's just something you conjure up in your imagination. And then at some point, seeing if you can really bring this image of the tree into your own body. So not only into your mind, but also into your heart, into your body. Appreciating the uniqueness, the unique fingerprint of this tree that's also reflecting your own uniqueness. Being patient, being this tree. So bringing the image of the tree to your heart and mind and body, and noticing its overall shape from its crown to its trunk. So you can just imagine that the roots of the tree are your feet, the trunk of the tree are your legs, your arms are the branches, and your whole torso and head are that canopy of that tree, that rich array of leaves and branches, home to so many. The tree is standing tall and strong. It's been there for many years. Trees are old. An emblem of abiding presence and stillness. And taking some time to notice the structure, the play of colors and textures, how solid the tree is, how beautiful it is from both close up and afar. And now finding your own roots, making contact with the earth through the feet, while your head is reaching up towards the sky. So imagining that you're grounded into the earth, starting with your feet, just like the roots of a tree. You're feeling connected to the earth, spreading your roots. Remembering that story of the biodome, the importance of these roots, they give us stability. They develop resilience, equanimity. And just imagine that you're growing taller, stronger as you reach up towards the sky, feeling that sense of lengthening in your spine. So moving your attention up through your legs and your torso, feeling the trunk of the tree, the strength that this represents, feeling the strength of your own body. And then bringing your attention to your arms, imagining your branches growing wide as you grow taller. Imagining both the strength and flexibility of those branches, standing proud, tall, beautiful. Feeling the wind swaying in your branches. Trees sway in the wind because they are flexible, yet their trunk remains strong and solid. So just like the tree, knowing when to be flexible, when to be strong. Adapting, generating, self-healing. Qualities of the tree that we can resonate with. Now imagine feeling a storm blowing through, feeling your branches swaying and your knee leaves rustling, feeling your trunk groaning a little with the strain, and then feeling your feet anchoring and rooting into the earth. Feeling that this strong, even though it may be unpleasant or scary, is also making your roots stronger and your trunk more resilient. Weathering the storm, feeling your strength. Next, imagine the storm passing. It's a beautiful day. Visualizing your branches touching the branches of the trees around you, connecting you with the other trees in the forest. Research shows that trees talk to one another, and they actually grow better when they're in community and in connection, just like human beings. We all need each other to grow, to thrive. So just thinking about that forest canopy. It's one of the places where animals make their homes. So just imagining your forest canopy. What animals are living in your forest canopy? Maybe birds, maybe squirrels, chipmunks. Steve says raccoons, maybe caterpillars, butterflies, insects. Who do you want to live in your canopy? Trees are part of a larger community. So just visualizing your community, creating a tree community, one of cooperation and communication. Next, moving your attention up out of your arms and up to the very, very top of your tree, your head beyond any branches. Feeling the dignity of your tree as it gazes up into the sky, knowing no limits, feeling unbound and free. Pure, free, forever. The tree. And perhaps smiling softly to yourself. So in a moment, we're going to bring this practice to a close. But before we do, I'm just going to invite you to give yourself a nice tree stretch. So reaching up with your arms from your roots all the way up to your branches, swaying from side to side, feeling your branches, and then sitting tall, acknowledging your presence, stability, and groundedness, and knowing that you're prepared to weather the storms of life. Feeling the strength, equanimity, and majesty of your tree being. So in a moment, I'm going to just invite you to rub your palms together, creating a little heat in your hands, and then just cupping your eyes so that no light gets in. Give your brain a break and take a few breaths here. And if your eyes were closed, I invite you to come back and open your eyes.